Gentlemen, thank you for being here. I know you've got a lot on your plate with the budgets and other things and big decisions on our national security, the different things that are going on in the world, and I certainly respect you and try to be brief about this. Secretary Kerry was before this committee. I believe the two of you were with him a couple of months ago when he was asking for the ability to move into Syria. And I asked Secretary Kerry at that point, what were the principles of war under which the Obama administration operated? He could not give them to us. He promised to get them to us within 24 hours. He has not responded, nor has his staff responded in any way when we have, again, asked for those principles. But I quoted at that point Colin Powell's doctrine. Is there a plausible exit strategy? Do we have a clear, obtainable objective? And then I go and I look, again at where Colin Powell has expanded on that. And when a nation is engaging in war, every resource and tool should be used to achieve decisive force against the enemy, minimizing U.S. casualties and ending the conflict quickly by forcing the weaker force to capitulate. Why should we approve an authorization that doesn't give you, General Dempsey, and you, Secretary Hagel, the ability to do what it takes to win the war?
Congressman, that's a great question, and you're obviously a student of warfare. The use of the military, let me answer it this way. The use of the military instrument in state-on-state conflicts does comport better to General Powell's principles than the use of the military instrument against something like ISIL. And so as we've looked at mass, which is one of the principles of war, as we looked at mass, mass has a coherence and a quality all its own when it's applied against the mass of another force, notably a state. But when you apply mass against something like ISIL, you can have a particular kinetic effect against it, but you can also generate antibodies within the population that could actually be counterproductive to what you're trying to achieve. I'd like to unpack this a bit in a longer conversation with you or a paper. But I will tell you this, in terms of what we're doing in Iraq and what we're doing in Syria, I refer to a command sergeant major that I had as a young lieutenant colonel. And I was trying to figure out how, of these 5 or 6 or 7 things that we really had to get done, how would I possibly prioritize them? And he said to me simply, his name was Don Stockton, he's passed away since. He said, look, Colonel, just make sure that you keep the main thing the main thing. And so ISIL is the main thing, and our priority is in Iraq, and then we will figure out, while disrupting it in Syria, what to do about it in Syria.
General, I'm certainly not a student of war, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for both of you. I guess my problem with this administration, as respectfully as I know how to say it, is I believe that the indecisiveness at the White House has led to a lot of the problems and the challenges that we're facing today. And when we first saw ISIL, we knew that no good was going to come from that. And the indecisiveness is what bothers me. I don't feel like you have that indecisiveness. I feel like it is the President of the United States' indecisiveness that, quite honestly, puts our men and women in uniform and our American citizens at risk, because he's not willing to make the decision to turn it over to somebody who will go do what it takes to protect this country. And so I respect you, and I'd love to be to have one that just gave you the authority to do what our military leaders think it takes to protect Americans.